Hello, sports fans, and welcome. We are the People's Game. We are the podcast for a community of football lovers. We're going to talk about football, and of course, we have the upcoming Euros. We are a podcast that is raw, unhinged. As you'll soon be able to tell, we are unedited, we are unfiltered, and we are unapologetic. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name's Ian, and I am a non-league buff. I am an Old Tringham fan. And of course, as you can tell by my shirt, I'm also an England fan. And we have my colleague on the People's Game podcast here as well.
Hello, my name is Mike. I am, unfortunately, for my sins, a Manchester United fan. But I've got to share an equal love for the game as Ian. And yeah, just welcome everyone into the People's Game. Ian, back to you.
And thanks very much, Mike. This podcast is about you. It's about your thoughts, your comments. And of course, we're going to deliver that on this podcast. So today we are going to be talking mainly about the Euros. And we are going to be talking about the Euros for the upcoming month. Today we're going to speak a little bit about Scotland, Mike, because they are in the Euros as well, believe it or not. We're going to speak about the rest of Europe's chances. And we're going to have a heavy focus on the England squad and the people that haven't made the squad, because there are a few surprises there, aren't there, Mike?
Very good, absolutely, Ian. And don't forget, Ian, we are going to be introducing our very own competition that me and you are going to be sharing throughout the Euros tournament. I've got my Excel spreadsheet ready, don't you worry.
That's great, and that's our points competition. So that's the People's Game points competition, which will be open to all of our community to take part, with some great prizes and forfeits included as well. So we'll get onto that a little bit later in the podcast, Mike, and you will take us through that infamous spreadsheet, and we'll also introduce our socials at the end of the podcast. But first of all, I will introduce the YouTube, which this video will be going on to shortly after this video, and that is TPG. So TPG, the People's Game, and we are on YouTube, and I'll introduce the other socials at the end of this podcast. So let's crack on, Mike. Let's crack on to the Euros. First of all, Scotland. What do you rate of their chances? They've had a couple of tough fixtures. They only just beat Gibraltar. They drew late with Finland 2-2. 2 late goals from Finland. And they've lost the last few games before that. Have they got a chance at the Euros?
I mean, when your opening fixture is against the host Germany, I think it all depends on how that result goes down. I mean, if they can dig in like they did in the qualifying, like they've got some fantastic results away from home in qualifying, and indeed at home. So I think it really depends. I mean, if they take a beating, a real hiding on that first match day, in front of the whole of Europe and indeed the world, then I think they could really struggle. But let's be honest. Have they probably got sights on maybe a best third place finish? Because that's something that they need to take into consideration.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the group, they've got Germany, Switzerland, and Hungary. I think they've got a chance, definitely, certainly of maybe third. Definitely, absolutely. Certainly, maybe. Germany first for host is always going to be a tough game. Switzerland traditionally draw, don't they, most of their games?
Well,
Hungary will be there. Hungary will be there for the taking as well. So who knows? I think Scotland will probably get out the group. I do.
Yeah, I mean, if Scott McTominay brings his shooting boots, I'm a big United fan. Where would we be without him this year? Without all his goals, and he certainly didn't. He wasn't shying away from a goal during qualifying either, was he? So, I'm optimistic. There's a few good players in there, but realistically, I think third would be the best I would say they could hope for in that group.
I agree as well. I think they're going to struggle up front. But McTominay and McGinn, centre-mid partnership, a lot of countries would snap your hand off for that.
Absolutely. Both keen tacklers as well. So I don't think any of the teams they face in that group stage are going to get an easy ride. Certainly, it'll all be about their work ethic, and if they can get the right shape, and then ultimately, 3 draws might be enough to be, there will be teams in other groups who, lose all 3 of their games, and I think for them, it's got to be about maybe not going for a win, but about not losing, certainly.
Yeah, cup football, it's always about not losing, isn't it? Just trying to get out the groups and then trying not to lose a game. Rafa Benitez famously did it with Liverpool. So that's Scotland chances. Of course, Lyndon Dykes has got injured, so they have Shankland and Shea Adams to choose from up front. But hopefully McGinn and McTominay can give them plenty of goals from midfield. So do we agree? We think Scotland will make it through?
Yeah, they've got my vote. They've got my vote. They'll get through the group stages. I'm not sure how much further beyond that, but group stages, I would like to think. First tournament in so long as well, so I really hope they do anyway.
Fantastic. So any other chances, Europe? Who else do you think will be there? You know, you've got your France, Portugal, Spain, Italy, of course, are the reigning champions, despite not making the World Cup.
Going the distance. I think the whole thing, don't want to start on the bandwagon too soon, but I do think England do have a strong chance. My dark horse is maybe a Portugal. I've seen their squad, and it's very similar to England's in terms of it's very top heavy. So strike force and midfield is strong throughout. They haven't decided to bring Pepe, which is a real shame because they are making room for one 40-year-old. So it does seem a little bit of a shame that they've not taken the veteran. But yeah, I mean, again, they could be involved in a lot of high-scoring games. But I could just see them. They seem to find a way. I'm sure that was it 2016 when they last won the Euros. I'm fairly sure it would be great.
It was around then, wasn't it?
Was in and around. We'll take that. 20. I think it's around.
It was around then. Well, it must have been because it was Italy last.
Yeah.
In the delayed Euros, of course, beating England in the final.
Yeah.
And the time before that, it must have been Portugal. Yes.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So they know how to get over the line in these tournaments. So in what capacity Ronaldo is going to be there, Cristiano, I'm unsure how much he will play, but what figurehead, what a leader that he might be for those hungrier younger players.
Yeah.
What about yourself, and Ian? Who do you think has the capacity to go all the way?
I do like Portugal's team, with Paulinho, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes. I like Ramos up top. Ronaldo has been there and done it, hasn't he? They've got, like you say, they've got a strong forward line. I don't know, to be honest, Mike. I think there's 5-6 nations that have a chance. France, England, Portugal, Spain. After that, you've got Germany, Holland, Italy. Who knows?
There's always a name that surprises you, isn't there? It's so hard to predict beforehand. I mean, we're giving it a good go, but it's so difficult because, like you say, any one of those teams could, not even play well at the start. You take the African Cup of Nations, for example. You had a team there, eventual winners finishing third in their group. The manager was sacked midway through the tournament.
I think the difficult thing this time round, Mike, for the smaller teams, the likes of Scotland, maybe a Georgia, a Hungary, an Austria, those sort of second tier football nations, with 3 teams going through from the group stage, it possibly means all the tier 1 nations are going to qualify.
Yeah.
And it just makes, the last 16 quarters set, it makes it so much more tougher because in years gone by, there's usually 1 or 2 big nations that comes third and gets knocked out. But I don't think it'll happen this time, unless it's England, of course.
It wouldn't be out of character, would it? After all this hype, it wouldn't be out of character.
Exactly.
Let's hope it's not. Come on, not with that shirt on, Ian. You can't be saying that.
Well, that brings us on to England. So, Gareth has named his squad now.
He has.
There's been a lot of news on it. There's been a lot of discussion. There was a lot of discussion even before he named his original 33-man squad with, of course, Marcus Rashford, being the main person missing out. Of course, Jadon Sancho, who made the Champions League final with Dortmund, missed out. He didn't play half a season with Manchester United. We all know that. But he did play the second half of the season with Dortmund and actually made the Champions League final. Any surprises, Mike, for you that have made the squad or were omitted? So anyone that surprised you that they missed the squad as well?
I mean, there was definitely some predictable names that you knew weren't going to make it. The likes of James Trafford. I think he definitely is one for the future. Very, very solid goalkeeper. But obviously, the two main names that stand out for me, real surprises, were Harry Maguire. A little bit biased because being a Manchester United fan, I know since he had the captaincy taken off him, he's really knuckled down and actually been one of our better defenders this year. I mean, it isn't saying much for Man United's defence, but
apparently, whether it's true or not, Maguire's picked up an injury, hasn't it? So yeah. Allegedly, it's because of an injury.
Yeah, he does admit himself, but that he isn't quite fully fit. But equally, then in the same breath, Gareth has chosen to take other players who are carrying.
Luke Shaw.
Yeah, exactly.
Luke Shaw. So, John Stones isn't fully fit.
For me, with him also not taking Henderson in that initial, 29-man squad. I'm looking. He's really relying on some of those younger players to step up and become leaders. So, for me, yes, leaving Harry Maguire was a bit of a surprise. And can you afford to have passengers who may only be able to offer the services later on down in the tournament? But yeah,
that's debates, isn't it?
Yeah.
He hasn't had the best of seasons. Assists and goals down as well. Would have put the houses on him being selected in a Gareth Southgate squad, but I think he's moved to Saudi Arabia and then going to Ajax, and he didn't really play for a year, did he? So if he would have made it, then I don't think Gareth could have got away with that one.
True.
Anybody else that missed the squad that you were surprised about?
No, I think the rest of the squad did actually pick themselves, because Gareth was really honest from the start, and I really like. It was very brave of him, because normally he's been renowned for relying on having a certain cohort of players and just sticking with them and saying these are the people I have faith in. He has literally picked the squad on form. So the likes of Eze making the squad and Wharton, you're thinking, these were players that if you'd have told me 6 months ago we're going to be on that plane, I'd have said you're laughing. Do you know what I mean? Especially with the situation that Crystal Palace were in. But you have to do that if you want to succeed. You have to be brave and make brave decisions. And maybe this is the first time Gareth is actually going down that road of making those tough decisions and bringing players on form.
And I think no matter what, he's going to get flack. If he's damned if he doesn't, he's damned if he.
Absolutely.
Parcel of being the England manager. So we talked about some omissions there. Let's talk about the players that have made the squad. So you mentioned a couple there. Wharton was probably the biggest surprise, I would say, within the 26. Eze has well deserved it. 3 up front, Watkins, Toney and Kane. I think Toney brings something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think he's very raw and unhinged, a little bit like this podcast. I would say.
Stop it, you.
And then the likes of Gordon, they are real raw players, aren't they? So he's picked a few young guns that. Has it come a tournament too early? Time will tell, but they're going to give it a real go.
Yeah.
I will say something. I know a lot of people think Southgate might leave, potentially to United. I think he's going to stay for one more World Cup.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's picked this squad for the Euros. I think this is his setup for the World Cup. He's going to get young players some minutes, and he's going to he's going to bring it home. He's going to bring it home in 2026.
Well, I was
But
about
let's get 2024 out of the way first.
I was about to ask you what stage of elimination were you going to go for, but clearly there is no stage of elimination there. If you're going for eventual winners,
World Cup.
I will go devil's advocate. I'll go Portugal then, shall I? Seeing as I did say they were my dark horses, so you're going England, and I'll have to say Portugal then.
To win it, yeah, why not? So we talked a little bit about the England squad there, players that have missed it, some surprising players, your Grealish, Rashfords, and some surprising players that made the squad, the likes of your Whartons, Eze's, Gordons, and your Tonys as well. So I think the defence, he didn't really have much of a choice. There was a bit of a question about leaving Branthwaite out, but for me, that's a 50-50, isn't it? He's neither here nor there. And Lewis Dunk has a little bit more experience, I would say. I think that was one of the other debates between Lewis Dunk and between Jared Branthwaite.
I don't know. I mean, they both had decent seasons. I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, you can't speak highly for either of the teams that they play for and their respective finishes in the league, but. Branthwaite, playing for Everton, who were really up against it this year. And, can you say, was he playing under, in high pressure situations and games? And really, they put a run of fixtures towards the back end of the season that, they were never in any danger in the end.
And they would have had that relationship with Pickford, of course.
Absolutely.
So you have the Everton link there. And a lot of people were discussing Jack Grealish should have maybe been picked because, of course, he has that link with Stones and Foden. Stones and Foden likely to start most of the games. So there's a lot of it up for debate. I'm sure over the next coming month, we're going to say either Gareth got it right or Gareth got it really wrong.
I'm sure we will.
Time will tell. So, still on England, we beat Bosnia 3-0. In not a totally exciting performance, but they got the job done and a bit of a flattering scoreline. And most recently, Mike, we lost to Iceland 1-0. Do those results have any reflection on how England are going to do in the tournament? Does it actually matter? Or is it a load of rubbish?
I mean, for me, I agree with you about that first result. 3-0 did flatter them, but you've got to remember the team that, do have lots and lots of substitutions for that game. And I think with regards to the Iceland result, you can just sort of wipe it, class it. You could try and class it as like, oh, it's just a minor blip. But if you look at England's last 5 results, I think they've only won once in the last 5 games. I think that's including like a loss to Brazil at home, that as well, when they were strong favourites in all of those games. So it's not an ideal. It's not an ideal vein of form to be in going into the Euros, but I'm sure that you're probably hoping that they're just saving it all for the big day or the big few days coming up in the month of June and hopefully into July.
Absolutely, fingers crossed. So I'm just going to tell you what the team I would pick, Mike.
Okay.
I mean, let me know if you would pick any changes. This would be my team from Gareth's squad. So I would play Pickford in net. I think that's going to happen anyway, isn't it?
Picks himself.
I would play. Well, Gareth picks him, but he picks himself. Yeah. I would play a back 5. So I would play Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. I would have 3 centre halves. I would have Kyle Walker, Mark Gahey, John Stones, and Kieran Trippier at left back. So we'll play 5, and then I'd have a middle 4, Saka on the right, Rice and Bellingham in the middle, and Foden playing inverted on the left, and Harry Kane up front. Of course, with having 5 at the back, you've got that security that Saka and Foden can get quite far forward and have Alexander-Arnold and Trips running down the wings and maybe running beyond Saka and Foden, giving you an extra man hopefully. So that's what I would go for.
Yeah.
Would you do anything different?
Very, very similar. I think he has picked a squad with that sort of with that sort of formation in mind, and I think it really plays to players such as Trent in that wing back position, because I mean, let's be honest, we all know that he's better going forward than he is in defence, and if he knows that he's got three centre halves who are there to mop up for him, one of those being Kyle Walker, who is renowned for his pace, even as he gets towards the twilight of his career. Yeah, do you know what, Ian? I struggle to know where I would change that starting lineup. I think where the real debate will come with in terms of with having so many forward options, who do you bring on for that sort of as that impact sub if things aren't going the right way? But yeah, quite happy with your lineup there, actually, Ian. I don't know if I can edit that one there.
Well, this podcast will be out soon, so hopefully Gareth Southgate is one of our listeners, and maybe he goes for that same squad. But hopefully the community will let us know. Did the People's Game podcast get it right? Is our starting 11 the best one for England? And Gareth, if you're listening, if we win, I'll take the credit. Thank you very much. So that moves us on to the last part of our podcast here, Mike. So this is the People's Game points game. So just to introduce it, we have a point system here. So it's a game that you as a community will be joining in, and Mike will show his famous spreadsheet just in a minute, just to show you exactly how it works. But basically, what will happen is for each fixture during the Euros, we will pick a score line. So, for example, on Friday, Germany play Scotland, and I think Germany are going to beat Scotland 3-1. That is my score line. So if that is correct, I will get 3 points. You get 3 points for a correct score line. You get 1 point for a correct result. So if Germany were to win 2-1, I would get 1 point there. And if Scotland were to get a draw, or if Scotland to win, I would get 0 points. So 3 points for a correct score, 1 for a correct result, and 0 points for a wrong result. So that leads us on to our spreadsheet. Mike, have you got it ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just
saw him tapping away.
Let me just share the screen. It took me ages to create this, Ian. So please, if you are blinded by all the dazzling lights, just try and contain yourself. Okay, here we go. Confirm, Ian. Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me?
I can see that. Oh, fantastic. So here we go. Of course, our Discord community, our YouTube community, and all different socials can join in with this, Mike. They can play
absolutely
on their own, or they can play with us. So
there you go.
Oh, you're sharing me there, Mike.
No, I wanted to see a bit of you on a bit of the spreadsheet, mate. Is that okay?
That's brilliant. Fantastic. So Germany versus Scotland. Well, I've said my scoreline there, Mike. Okay. I'm going to go 3-1. So as you can see there, Mike's got 12 different fixtures, and they are the first round of fixtures. So if you're playing at home, playing with your friends, or playing within our community, make sure you do your first round of fixtures as soon as possible. Get them in the comments.
3-1. No.
3-1.
It keeps wanting to put the
3rd of January.
The 3rd of January. I don't know what I can do it. Right, okay.
You might have to type it out, Mike. Maybe put the letters 3-1.
G3.
Germany 3.
S1.
This might do something with the... Like I say, we are unedited. We are unfiltered. These things happen.
You will see me unhinged if it starts writing any more dates in here. I will sell you that for free. Okay.
You won't see this on the extras bit. We give it to you here live.
Absolutely, Ian. Right, okay. You're going 3-1. I think you're being generous. I think you're being generous to Scotland there. I don't see them offering enough going forward to get a goal on this occasion. And I think, as much as I said it, their chances depend on how they get on in this game. I do think it's going to be quite one-sided. I'm actually going to go for 4-0.
4-0, wow. A few of our Scottish viewers won't like that, Mike.
I know, but I'm just being a bit realistic, I'm afraid. I'm not saying they're going to get nilled in every single game, but I think on this occasion, I'm going to go for 4-0.
So we'll go quite quickly through the next fixtures.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to go for a draw. Hungary 1, Switzerland 1.
Okay. I wonder if I can. No, I'll just. I've started, so I'll finish. Hungary 1. Hang on. Hungary 1. Switzerland 1.
Yes, please.
Okay, I will go for. I'll go for Hungary 1. Switzerland 2.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I'm going to say they're going to break the curse of getting loads of draws like they have done in the last 2 tournaments, Ian. I'm going to go for them getting a win on that first fixture. Okay.
So Spain versus Croatia. Croatia have just beat Portugal, actually, in the friendly. 2-2.
Desmond, God rest his soul.
Desmond 2-2. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Thank you, Desmond,
2-2.
for everything you did and giving us that great tagline. A Desmond 2-2.
So you've gone for another draw. I do actually like a draw for this fixture. So, you know, I'll go 1-1. 1-1. Spain, Croatia.
Italy versus Albania, is that Mike?
Italy, Albania is correct.
It's a tough group, isn't it?
Very much.
I will go for 2-0 to Italy.
2-0 to Italy.
Albania are okay, you know. I think they're up and coming. I think they're doing okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, if that's what you think, then Ian, I think they're going to score a goal. I think.
Oh, well.
You know,
what player's going to score a goal?
No idea, mate, but I love goalie. You know, the Albanians have been good to me in the past. So we'll go for Italy 2, Albania 0. 1. Sorry, 1. 1. Can't be stealing your scoreline.
So, well, you can have the same if you like. Poland, Netherlands, Poland versus Holland. I think we're going to get what would be deemed to be a slight upset here. I'm going to go for Poland 2, Holland 1.
Poland 2. Holland 1. First upset. You know, it's only the first round of fixtures, but let's go for Poland 0. Poland 0. And I think I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory. Holland 1. There we go. Nice for us to have a few different results, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Got to go against the grain. Very good.
So, Slovenia versus Denmark. Let's go 1-0 to Denmark.
I'm going to go for 0-0. Moving swiftly on.
Serbia versus England. Now, Serbia have got Vlahovic and Mitrovic up front. I think they'll score.
Okay.
I'm going to go 1-1.
For a man who thinks he's coming home, for him to not get the result on the first fixture, I think is criminal. Get that shirt.
They're always tight. The first games are always tight.
Wow. Not if you're me, mate. I think they're going to win 3-1. 3-1.
Romania, Ukraine. I can't believe Romania were in it. 3-0 to Ukraine.
Can't believe it. Sorry to all the Romanian people that may or may be watching.
Don't say sorry. We're unapologetic.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Ian. I follow. I get with the philosophy. I do apologise. So what was that? So it's Romania.
3-0 Ukraine.
3-0 Ukraine. Ukraine 3. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna back the Romanians after your. I'm gonna go for 2-0 to Romania because I think they do deserve to be there.
So Belgium versus Slovakia. I will go. I think Lukaku's banging form at the moment. Belgium 4. Trossard is in good form as well. Belgium 4, Slovakia 1.
Okay. I'm gonna go for a Belgium win, but Lukaku's not renowned for his striking at tournaments. I know he missed a few howlers in the last one, so I'm gonna go for. I'm still a Belgium result, but I'm gonna go for 2-0.
Nice. So Austria, France, neighbours. 1-1-2. Maybe a bit cagey. The first game.
Okay. I'm gonna go for. Let's go for 3-0 France.
Now this next one, Turkey versus Georgia. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. 1-1 draw. Be nice for the Georgians, wouldn't it?
If we don't win it, if England don't win it, I hope the Georgians do. We've got a very similar flag.
Very similar flag, mate.
I can just make a few marks on the England flag and it can soon become a Georgia flag.
I don't think Georgia are going to get a result here. I'm going to go for 2-0.
Oh, you've not even given them a goal.
I can't say I have. Such as you feel, I feel the same way about the Georgians as you do about the Romanians, mate. I'm afraid.
Finally, Portugal, Czechia. I'm going to go Portugal 5. Czechia 2.
Portugal 5. Czechia 2.
5.
Yeah. I'm glad that isn't it strange how you're going with the team that I'm wanting to win the whole thing? Well, expect to win the whole thing. Dark horses to win the whole thing. You're making them get a result in the first game, but England not so. I suppose maybe you're after after them being a slow burner. I'm going to go for 3-1. I do think they are going to concede.
So that's it. That's our first round of fixtures. We're going to pop that on our socials, and you guys in the People's Game community too. Feel free to join in on our Discord, on our YouTube, or feel free to play it with your mates.
Yeah. Feel free to add your name onto the download the Excel spreadsheet if you want. You can add your own namings. See how you get on against Ian and against my good self. I'm trying to look at some of the results. We've only picked out a couple of really close ones that could go with either way, but we'll wait and see. I'm quite confident.
See how it's done. Remember, 3 points for a correct score, 1 point for a correct result, and 0 points for an incorrect result. So do you want to stop sharing that spreadsheet, Mike?
I can indeed. Say goodbye to the spreadsheet.
Goodbye, spreadsheet.
There we go.
So that's it for today, Mike. That's our first podcast here at the People's Game. How do you think it's gone?
Well, definitely unhinged. Unplanned, it looks like as well, Ian. But, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You don't want to see people people reading off scripts and things like that. Let's just take it as it is. I think it's gone well, though, mate. I'm going to say well.
That's brilliant. As well as England will do at the Euros? Are we on to a winner?
Not that well.
Not that well, but hopefully we get a few pods out of it. Hopefully we get a few fixtures, and hopefully we're still going live on this podcast in July. Otherwise, us and England have done really bad. But don't forget, we're not just a podcast for the Euros. We're a podcast for all of football or soccer to any viewers across the pond in America and any other countries as well. We've got plenty of socials. We've got Twitter. We've got Instagram. We've got YouTube. We've got Discord. We've got Kick. And soon to come, we have got Streamlabs as well. All of those socials will be on the YouTube page and they will be in the Discord as well. Basically, it's TPG, the People's Game. Some of them are slightly different, but we'll pop all those socials up for everybody to get involved. And that's what we are about.
We can put them
We are the People's Game, and we do this for the love of the game. And this is your community. Remember that point stuff. If Mike loses or if I lose, one of us will be doing a forfeit, and it'll be up to our viewers, Mike, to select that forfeit.
Ooh, juicy. I can't wait. Well, it's not going to be me doing the forfeit, so I don't mind. But yeah, I'll make sure on the People's Game on YouTube that all those socials are visible for you, so you can all just click a link. And obviously, any follows, any subscribes, they're going to really help us in these early stages of us trying to get this, the People's Game podcast, really going.
He's been Mike. Say goodbye, Mike.
Goodbye, Mike.
He's been Mike. I've been Ian. And this hasn't been any old game. It's been the People's Game.
Cheers, guys.